Kavyam, kavate iti, sarvam varnayati. That becomes Kavyam. In Kavya Mimamsa, Dandan describes how a Mahakavya should be. Sargo Bandha Kavyaha. A kavyam is that which has many chapters. Sarga means chapter. Srich, to move, from that it comes. And Gang Pratyaya. So other things that are in a kavya are Vyakarana, Vakyarachana, Siksha and Alankara. Vyakarana is grammar and also etymology. Grammar we know, Vyakarana. Etymology. With the help of this grammar that is laid by Parni, the great foundation laid by him, we can form ever so many words with the samasas and all the other grammar pratyayas and upasargas. So many words, unlike other languages, ever so many words can be formed in Sanskrit. So that plays a very important role and it forms a base of Vakya Rachana. So then the next thing is Siksha or pronunciation. So alliteration and such beautiful word formation gives rise to good pronunciation. That also is very important. If you see Sishupala, you have so many such beautiful alliterations. The next is the alankaras, the figures of speech. Upama, Rupakam, Utpreksham, that is simile, metaphor, and hyperbole. These all give beauty to language in a narrative style. A kavya has descriptions of various things, that is nature, social order, political order, different festivities, etc. The story of these kavyas should be from known sources: Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, even great granthas like Brihat Katha could be the base for these stories of these Mahakavyas. Naishadhiya Charitam. This was by Sri Harsha, and the story of Nalanda Manti is described here. This from the Varna Parva of the Mahabharata. This Naishadhiya Charitam has 22 sargas. The Sishupalavadam by Bhaga has 20 sargas and it is from the Mahabharata. The Kirartarjuniyam by Bharavi has 18 sargas. It has predominantly the Virarasa. It is from the Vanaparva of the Mahabharata. It is the episode between Shiva as the Kirata and Arjuna. Kalidasa's two kavyams find their names in Mahakavyas in Sanskrit. Raghuvamsham has 19 sargas. The story relates to the Raghu dynasty. This Raghuvamsham is inspired by Basa's Pratima Nataka, which is from Ramayana. The Kumara Sambhava by Kalidasa tells the story of goddess Parvati and her marriage to Lord Shiva and their son Skanda. It is from the Skanda Purana. It has 17 sargas. उपमा कालिदासस्य भारवेः अर्थगौरवं दण्डिनः पदलालित्यं मागे सन्ति त्रयो गुणाः. Sanskrit literature has come down to us through oral tradition called the Shruti Parampara. The maximum number of works in Sanskrit are in poetry only. Starting from the Rig Veda, which is supposed to be one of the earliest documents of world literature, there's a continuous flow of Sanskrit works in poetry. The three Vedas, Rig, Sama, Yajur, and the Atharva, are composed in verses. Great epics, Ramayana, Mahabharata, are all in the poetical form, that is, verses or padyams. All the 18 Puranas are in verse forms or padyas. One of the nine gems of the court of King Vikramaditya, that is Chandragupta, was Kalidasa. Kalidasa was a very great poet. He was as humble as he was great, and this we can see in his kavyas. Now, his language was very simple, but with this simplicity, he brought the greatest beauty. पुरा कवीनां गणना प्रसङ्गे कनिष्ठिकाधिष्ठितकालिदासः अद्यापि तत्तुल्यकवेः अभावात् अनामिका सार्थवती बभूव. Ancient times, when all the poets were counted, Kalidasa was assigned the little finger. But no poet of the genius comparable with him has existed till today. Hence, a finger next to little finger is significantly named as Anamika. Such a great poet he was. Mandaha kaviyashaha prarti gamishyami upahasyatam ramshulabhye phale lobat utpahuhu eva vamanaha. I don't know my subject matter well, so will I be ridiculed? Because I desire to be a great poet, just like a small guy trying to stretch his arms out for a fruit, but that can be obtained only by a tall person. Such was his humility. When he returned home, his wife spoke these words, Asti kaschid vag viseshaha, which literally means, are you an expert now in language? Asti. Kumara Sambhavam starts with Asti. Uttarasyam dishi. Kaschit Meghadut starts with Kaschit Kanta, and Vagarta Vivasampraktau is the first line from Raghuvamsham. Raghuvamsham is about the great dynasty of the Raghus, the ancestors of Rama. A streak of a story from Bhasa Nataka, Pratima Natakam, became the inspiration for Kalidasa's Raghuvamsham. He developed into a full fledged Mahakavya, starting from the story of Dilipa, the great grandfather of Rama. Kumar Sambhavam, the second great epic of Kalidasa, is taken from Skanda Purana, and it tells about Parvati's marriage to Shiva, the birth of Skanda, and the destruction of Tarakasura. Kalidasa's greatest drama is the Abhignana Shakuntalam, the identification of Shakuntala. The stories from the Mahabharata. Agnimitra, the Sunga king, became the hero of Kalidasa's Malavika Agnimitram. It was not a Puranic tale, a historical story. So, with this, we can determine the age of Kalidasa to a certain extent. The Nataka Vikramoorvashya is inspired from a germ of a story in the Rig Veda, the story of Pururavash and the Apsaras Urvashi. The love and philosophical outpourings of a banished yaksha becomes the base of Meghadutam or Megha the Kantakavya of Kalidasa. It has 100 verses but has extreme beauty and extreme philosophical matter in it. One of the earliest kavyas of Kalidasa was Ritusamaram, the description of the 6 seasons in India. Kanya Iyam kulajivitam is taken from the 6th act of the Kumara Shambhavam of Kalidasa. The Saptarshis seek the alliance of Parvati for Shambhu or Shiva. They meet her father Himavan in Alakananda. So that scene is beautifully portrayed by Kalidasa, and we are fortunate enough to learn these verses. तत्र वेत्रासनासीनान् कृत आसनपरिग्रहः इति उवाच ईश्वरान् वाचं प्राञ्जलिः भूधरेश्वरः. The Lord of the mountains spoke with folded hands to the lords, that is the Saptarshis, who were seated on the bamboo sofa, and then he too sat down in front of them. Tatra there vetrasana vetra asana asina. Vetra asane asina. Those who sat on the bamboo seat. Vetra means bamboo, asana means seat, asina means sitting. Those who are sitting it means. So it becomes Dvitiya Vibhakti. Okay? So Krita asana parigraha. Kritam asana parigraha ena saha. So Krita means to do, asana means seat, parigraha means to take. So he who took a seat. Iti thus uvacha. He spoke. What, to whom he spoke? Ishwaran, to the sages. So this is Dvitiya Vibhakti. Vacham, words. Dvitiya Vibhakti. Pranjalihi, bowing down. It's an adjective for this. Bhudareshwaraha, the Lord of the mountains. And it is Prathama Vibhakti. What is Bhudareshwaraha? The Lord of the mountains, right? So what's the word for mountain? Bhudara. So Bhudaranam Ishwaraha. He who is the Lord of the mountains. We'll see what is Bhudara later on. Now let's see this. Kaha uvacha. We always have to take the verb. So uvacha is the verb, right? Spoke. Kaha uvacha Bhudareshwaraha. So what are the adjectives for Bhudareshwaraha? First one is Kritasana Parigraha. He has taken a seat. So Kritasana Parigraha. He who took a seat. And one more adjective, Pranjalihi. He was doing Namaste. So this Kritasana Parigraha Pranjalihi Bhudareshaha Uvacha. This kind of a person who has taken a seat and who is bowing down, he spoke. To whom he spoke? That person to whom he spoke is Dvitiya Vibhakti. So Ishwaran. Now that's an adjective for Ishwaran. Vetrasana Sinan. See? Vetrasana Sina. Vetrasane Asinaha Tan. Dvitiya Vibhakti. Those who are sitting in the bamboo seat. So the Ishwaras are the lords. The sages are the lords, right? They guide us. So they were sitting in the bamboo seat. Okay, what did he speak? Vacham. He spoke words. So that also becomes Dvitiya Vibhakti. So did you understand? So Bhudareshwaraha Pranjalihi Kritasana Parigrahaha Vetrasanasina Nisharan Vacham Uvacha. So that Lord of the mountains, after taking a seat, after bowing down, he spoke these words to the rishis who were seated on the Vetrasana. Now let's see why Kalidasa has put Vetrasana. Because these rishis, they saw muddy or purity. They would not sit in cloth seat, sofa or such things. So if you would remember in Mathatipatis or sages or old people in the house, they're very strict, right? They would sit on wooden planks. So same way these people were sitting on a wood chair, that is a bamboo seat. Probably the king sat on a cushion seat, a sofa, in a simhasana, right? So what did he do? He also took a seat next to them and then he bowed down to them. They were great rishis, right? So that's how he spoke. He is the father and he is welcoming the bridegroom's people and he spoke these words. So that's how it is. Tatra vetrasanasīnān krita asana parigraha iti uvacha Ishwaran vacham pranjalihi bhudareshwaraha. The Lord of the mountains spoke with folded hands to the lords, that is the Saptarshis, who were seated on the bamboo sofa, and then he too sat down in front of them. अवैमि भूतात्मानं द्वयेनैव द्विजोतमाः मूर्ध्नि गङ्गाप्रपातेन दौतपादावसा च वः. अवैमि भूतात्मानं द्वयेनैव द्विजोतमाः Murni Ganga Prapatina Tautapadambasa Chabaha. I count myself pure by two ways. O best among Brahmins, the Ganga and the washed water of your feet falling on my head. I understand. Lat Lakara. Putam, pure. Atmanam, myself. Dvayena eva. By two ways. Dvijottamaha. O best among Brahmins. Murdni, on my head. Ganga Prapatena. Ganga falling. Dautapada Ambasa. Dautapada Ambasa. Wash water off your feet. Tritiya Vibhakti. And Vaha, of your all. Sashti Vibhakti. So Prapata is Kta and Puta is also Kta Pratyay. Now, which is a verb here? Avaimi. I understand. Uttama Ekavach. Aham Avaimi. Who's this Aham? Bhutareshwara, that is Himalayas. He's only speaking, right? So his speech has started. So he says Avaimi. Gottagatte. Ava plus E. E is to move. So you put ava, it becomes understand. That upasarg, right? So avaimi. What do I understand about myself? Kim avaimi? Putam atmanam. Aham putam. So here atmanam comes as dvitiya vibhakti because he is addressing himself. You know, this is I. This is me. He says. So I understand me to be perfect. Or not I to be perfect. I understand me to be perfect, right? So Atmanam is Dvitiya Vibhakti. What is the adjective for Atmanam? Putam. Putam means pure. Ta pratyay. So I understand myself to be pure. Why? Kasmat karanat. Dvayena eva. When karana is said, it is Tritiya Vibhakti. By two ways. What are the two ways? Murdhni. Murdhan Shabda. That's Saptami Vibhakti. So when do you use Saptami Vibhakti? To tell the location. So Murdhni, on the head. Gangayaha Prapatanam. Prapatanam means to fall, to tumble down and fall. Patanam is to fall. Prapatanam, tumble down to fall. So Ganga falling on my head. So this is also Tritiya Vibhakti. And which is the second? Dvayeneva. Dauta Padambasa. Ambas means water. Ambasa, Tritiya Vibhakti. What kind of water? Dautam. Dautam is prakshalanam, washed. What is washed? Sage's feet are washed. Dauta Padambasa. Whose water? Whose washed water? Vaha. Vaha is Yushmad. Yushmad Shabda. Yushmakam. So Vaha, of all your feet washed, no, they are all washed. That water I put on my head because whenever rishis come, if you would remember, when rishis comes from Mata, we wash their feet and put on our head. That is purity. They are so pure and we get that inspiration and that vibrations from them. He, Himavan, he is a very polite man. He is a man who knows how to keep others comfortable. So these guests have come. So he puts them at ease and he praises them, telling that I am because of you. I'm so honored. And especially these rishis are great people. They give liberty to the whole world by good knowledge. They live for the peace and spirituality of the world. So they deserve more than this kind of speech. So, okay, what is a Sambodhana Vibhakti? What is the word he addresses for these rishis? Dvijotamaha. Dvijotamaha. It is Sambodhana. Eighth Vibhakti is Sambodhana. Dvijanam Uttamaha. Best among Brahmins. What is the meaning of Dvija? Why are Brahmins called Dvija? Matram Jayate. They are born twice. Once born from the mother's womb. The second is when they have that investiture ceremony, right? That Janivar or Punal is invested on them. So, Upanayanam. So that's why they are twice born. Vijotamaha. Uttamaha means best. Dvijanam Uttamaha. Sashti Tatpurusha. Avaimi Putatmanam Dvayenaiva Dvijotamaha. Mudni Ganga Prapatena Dautapadambasa Vaha. Avaimi Putatmanam Dvayenaiva Dvijotamaha. Mudni Ganga Prapatena Dautapadambasa Vaha. I count myself pure by two ways. O best among Brahmins, the Ganga and the washed water of your feet falling on my head.